Ep7 of you.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Sports Redefined podcast. I'm your host, your best host, Nam, the aka Premium Nam, alongside my man, Mr. Real Too Real.
What's up?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
Chilling, man.
Yo, you got a cut? I got a cut too.
Yeah, I had to. I was looking crazy. I was wearing the hats and, and scarves and do-rags. I was like, all right, bro, I got to do something.
I was talking to my barber and I was like, yo, like, can I get the Jalen Rose package? You know, like.
Here you go. I was just watching him dunk on somebody, too. You're crazy. But shout out to my hat. God bless everybody who hating on me. This is for us. God bless everybody who hating on the podcast. We're going to pray for y'all and we're going to keep it rolling. You feel me?
Smooth. Let's get right into it. So this is a sensitive topic, right? Deshaun Watson with he has 22 allegations now about sexual misconduct, sexual harassment within massage parlors and whatnot. What are your thoughts on it?
Personally, I feel like it's like really suspect that, it comes to the forefront as he's trying to be removed from the organization. But if it is true, I'm not saying, it's all lies. None of us really know the truth. But if it is true, we just ask that we ask that the penalty, we ask that the treatment is the same across the board. Because, as we've seen before, all of our Black athletes get way more scrutiny than the white athletes and all that. So we just ask, if he is responsible, keep that same energy when it's everybody else. Don't just pick and choose when y'all want to have the hard scrutiny and the hard penalties and removing people from the league and endorsement deals and all that. And it's just sad that soon as that's probably one of the biggest things going on right now, sexual assault allegation. That's ruining careers by a simple mention. Like the trials are not even being done, the proof is not even being presented, and people are losing endorsement deals and all type of stuff. So like that's probably that when it comes to word of mouth of that, like a sexual assault allegation or misconduct allegation, it's tough. So it's like, make sure we just hope it's not a money scheme, or we hope it's not a plot, because this man is, trying to take control of his future and move how he wants to move instead of being told what to do. And, it's unfortunate, man, but we got to stick together and we just ask. Like, we're not saying he's innocent. We're just asking like to keep the treatment and the penalty the same across the board for everybody who was a offender. That's it.
Yeah. So I'm in agreement with you because I'm not. So if he did it, then once again I agree. Like punish him accordingly to what you've done to people in the past, right? Like Ben Roethlisberger, he had a few sexual misconduct allegations, and he only got suspended for four games, and he didn't have any sponsorships pulled or anything of that nature, right? So I think for Deshaun Watson, I think if that's the case, then like let that be that. Right. In regards to the allegations, my thing is, if you are watching first of all, ESPN they're violating. They're running his name through the mud. Deshaun Watson, God bless his soul. But one of the reports was it happened in 2020, right? And I'm like, hey, like, why did you come forward then, right? Like, if it happened a year ago, right? So this happened a year ago. He just signed a contract in the summertime for a 4-year extension. Now it's like he wants to go, and it's like, oh yeah, well you did this back in the past, so like let's bring it up. That's like weird, like, and then also, hey, like if he's such a bad person, right? Then just trade him. Like if he's really if he's bad for your capital, if he's bad for your brand and everything, just trade him.
Right.
So
and the thing with this type of allegation, it used to be the people, the accusers, they come out later because, I was scared, but in recent years, you've been seeing that that's no longer been an excuse. Like,
It can't
It's
be
been a whole movement. It's been a whole movement behind.
Yeah,
You feel me? Like it's been a whole movement behind that. So, like you said, that the timing is weird, especially 2020. People's out protesting and all that. Like that was probably one of the best times to be like, yo, nah, he touched me. Like you feel and it's like you said, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but it's just like, come on, bro. The timing of that, it's like, and then it's like, y'all just dragging him through the mud. Do y'all even have the proof? Where's the proof? Like, present the proof, try them as such, and keep it pushing. Like, you don't have to do all the other, but you know how it goes. There's people still ripping Michael Vick to shreds, and it's been proven that he didn't have anything to do with it. It was just his house. So it's just like, it's a repeat action of, dragging black athletes through the mud. We don't want to make it a racial thing, but it is what it is. It's like, what do you want us to do? We can't ignore it. So it's like, at this point, if it's tied to him wanting to move and we see like it's like a railroad type situation, like people are aware now. People keep seeing the same type of situations pop up, and we're starting to see the pattern. Like we're starting to see like, this is how they get down. It's dirty out here. So it's like people tired of it. It's like, yo, let that man, he just want to play football. Let that man, you feel me? Like, let that man go. Because a lot of people y'all kept in the league that and beat their girlfriends up and all time. Y'all ain't say nothing.
And Baylor, like
come on. Ben Roethlisberger, like, come on, bro. Like, so it's like, we gotta do better. If you're gonna, and it's crazy because most of the athletes who get the big contracts are African Americans. Like who get the big long-term franchise tags is more so African Americans now. So it's like, come on, bro. We gotta do better in protecting each other. Not even protecting each other, being fair. You feel me? Like if it's a false allegation, protect him. He's part of your corporation that brings you millions of dollars. Like that's not cool. But it's politics and everything, man. It's weird out here. Prayers to him. I hope he keep his head up. Yeah, I hope he keep his head up, get through it. Like, especially when you know it's all lies, that's tough to try to, keep working through. Because it's like, yo, that puts a strain on everything. Your family, it's a lie. To come back, try to build your reputation back. Like, that sticks with you. Like, it can be proven that all of that was a lie, but for some reason, people will still carry that. That will be attached to his name forever now. So it's like, that's really trash.
All right. That's a piece we have to get off of our chest,
Sure.
Let's switch over to NBA, right? ESPN, this is like crazy, right? ESPN released their top 25 under 25. Remember, so when they released it, the main criteria is for future potential, right? For future potential. So I forget the top 5, but I just know they put Luka number 1, Zion number 2, and LaMelo number 3. The 4 and 5, I really don't really care about. But personally, if you ask me, Stephen A. Smith was mad about this, but I'm even more mad because LaMelo should be number 1. Like, hands down, should be number 1. Not Luka, not Zion. Like, what are they doing is great and all, but I think for LaMelo, right, look at where he's coming into, right? He has a broken down Gordon Hayward. Everyone else is like, I wouldn't say they're not really lottery picks, right? I think Malik Monk went lottery and Miles Bridges, but everyone else is like regular people, right? Like your starting center is Bismack Biyombo. Like seriously. On the flip side, for Luka, you have KP, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Luka. Plus you have a Hall of Fame championship winning coach and Rick Carlisle, right? And then in New Orleans, you have Lonzo, Ingram, Josh Hart, and Zion. Even Steven Adams. These were all top 10 picks. These are all lottery picks. And it's like, yo, LaMelo's legit number 1. First of all, did you know the Hornets are 4th right now in the East?
Yo, I saw
4th
standings,
right now.
and I said, oh, snap. Because I was in disgust at the Knicks dropping to 8th again. I'm just like, bro.
So, like, Steven, everyone's like, I'm listening and watching TV, and I'm like, hey, like, nah, like, if anything, ESPN, you guys got it wrong. LaMelo's definitely number 1. For a kid to come in and not be able to start, being a 3rd draft pick, my thing for Luka, he came in and he was handed the keys, right? Like, he was like, all right, Luka, this is your team now. Let's see what you can do. Even for Zion, like, this is first year where he actually can play, and they try to make him a point guard, right? So, like, they're giving him the ball. Like, so they're like, here you go. This idiot, James Borrego, going to take in a Devontae Graham injury, and like 30 games later figure out, oh, this kid can actually go. And I'm like, That's a lot of uphill battle for this kid, man. Like, also, my last point. Do you know the Hornets had 5 national televised games today? I mean, this year, and that's all because of LaMelo, man. Like,
That is all because of LaMelo. We haven't seen the Hornets on TV since Kemba was on the team and they were the Bobcats. Like we've rarely seen, or when they've played the Knicks. That's probably the only time we see them on TV.
I was gonna go to a Hornets game, right? And so the tickets were $400, right?
Excuse me?
The tickets were $400, right? And I'm like, all right, no problem. But then LaMelo got hurt. Tickets went down to $40. I said, no way. No way. The same exact tickets that was $400. It was like $398, $397, so I rounded to $400. But as soon as he broke his fractured wrist, it went down to $42. I was like, oh nah, like
that's crazy.
Bro, he's not.
That's crazy.
I don't understand what are we watching here. Like, this man legit changed the whole franchise. How's he not the number 1 player under 25? Like, this is like he's legit doing what LeBron did in Cleveland.
Well, you know, Luka's the NBA's baby right now, and
yeah, you can't touch Luka.
They want Zion. They want Zion to be the LeBron, the LeBron of this generation with the high school hype, the AAU hype, and the one and done. Like they want Zion to be the next physical specimen because LeBron is on his way out, and they just want Luka to be the next international, nice story. But you can't deny LaMelo's IQ. You can't deny his impact. You can't deny what he did for the franchise. And no matter how any of us feel, Michael Jordan is hurt again because he started getting praised. He started looking like he knew what he was doing. And young boy got hurt. So it's just like, But I don't really care for that list. I don't care for none of their lists because I saw another list that said Allen Iverson was the worst MVP in the last decade. They did the MVPs of the last decade list.
Right? Yeah.
And they put him all the way at the bottom. And I said, these people that lost their mind. And it's crazy because last night I was watching the game, not even last night, this morning, we was watching the game, the Bucks and the Sixers, the game 7 before he went to the finals. And I'm just like looking at his roster and I'm just like, there's no way this man carried this team all the way through the playoffs. All the way through the play, every other play, he's getting off the floor. Like, there's no way he carried this team all the way through the playoffs and got to the finals and stopped them Lakers. He gave them an L. That was their first loss the entire playoffs. Y'all got to say he's the worst MVP in the last 10 years? It's crazy.
Who would you say is the worst MVP in the last? Off that list.
Dang. I don't even know where the list is at. Who they had on the list? Like Kevin Garnett. Not even. It was Kevin Garnett. It was Derrick Rose. It was Steve Nash, of course. Steph Curry.
But it went back all the way to 2001, right? So just if you think on your head about everybody who was an MVP, so a lot of people give Westbrook a flack because he's like, oh.
I was gonna say it would either be Westbrook or Harden, in the sense that I can even say Steve Nash because I'm
definitely going to Steve Nash. That's definitely the worst MVP. Worst MVP.
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to get 2 of them, bro.
That's definitely the worst MVP.
I'm not nobody's hating, but we all know what's up with that. He wasn't supposed to get 2 of them. Kobe was supposed to get one of those, and one of the years I think Shaq was supposed to get the other one. But yeah, I'm like, bro, out of everybody I named, Iverson was the only one. Probably like out of 3 people on that list, he was the only one to get his team to the actual finals that year. Westbrook didn't do it. Harden didn't do it. Derrick Rose didn't do it. Steve Nash didn't do it. So I'm like, how was he the worst? That doesn't make any sense. So it's just like listening to the ESPN analytics and these so-called experts. Like, who gave y'all who told y'all know what y'all talking about? Please. Because I was sitting there, I was naming people on the roster, and I'm naming people and laughing. I'm like, these people don't even know who these people are. Y'all didn't even know Rajah Bell played on the Sixers. Y'all didn't know Jermaine Jones and Eric Snow and Tyrone. Y'all don't know who these people are. So it's like, yeah, come on. It's like, I'm picking my battles on who to argue basketball with, but that list really pissed me off. And I was just like, are you serious? Iverson is the worst MVP out of all these people you got named? Like, are you serious? Come on, bro.
Yeah. So let's change topics. Let's just get it here, right? Wiseman, right, for the Warriors. It's going to be like a very Warrior-centric like thing right now, but not because of Steph or anything, but just like who they have on their team. So James Wiseman said he gets mentored by Kyrie and KD. And what's your take? How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I think you start out as a fan, and when you get a chance to talk to them, you just ask what you could ask, by getting basketball knowledge, and then it may grow into something. So I don't want to say like he broke his neck and went out to seek them because of their names, but I just think, he came across, asked a question, and, I can see Kyrie or KD saying, yo, if you have any questions, just hit me up. And, that begins to grow and all that. But
every day, though, he talks to them every day.
I mean, we don't have anybody's call logs. We don't we don't know.
No, so it's like, this is what he said in a press conference.
Okay, but I mean, it doesn't make sense in terms of, it depends on, everybody would say straight off the back, it doesn't make sense because he doesn't play any of their positions. So it's like, how much, you feel me? And then it's like, boy, you play with Steph Curry. Then it's like, you play with Draymond Green. But it's like, it depends how, sometimes you relay the messages. Or I could see him asking KD, how did you play with these guys? I could see him saying, yo, Draymond is really intense. How did you stay focused and not get so agitated with playing? I could see stuff like that. But I don't know. Kyrie, I don't know. Like I said, you can start off as a fan and it just, because Kobe started off as a fan. He just kept asking Mike stuff. And, if they take a liking to you, they'll keep giving you the information. Mike said, yo, I took a liking to him, so I started giving him secrets. And, you feel me? Like, so I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Man, listen. James Wiseman might be the worst draft pick in the last 10 years, man. This guy,
he just hurt his knee. He literally just hurt his knee.
So first, I get he's out for the season now. But second of all, my thing is like, hey, like, so you have a good point. Like, what if he's calling KD, how do you play with Draymond and Steph? But I'm like, hey, like, you should go to Steph because, like, Steph has to play with Draymond, and they don't get into no beef. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, you should, like, how do you deal with Draymond if that's the situation? Because obviously KD couldn't handle it because he left, right? So it's like, why are you asking somebody who left the Warriors about the Warriors? That makes no sense, right?
I'm saying he probably started as a fan.
And I'm like, bro,
look, if you play with Kobe. If you play with Kobe and Shaq every day, it becomes ask Kobe and Shaq. But when you come across, you get a chance to have a conversation with Michael Jordan. It's snap, Michael Jordan. Like you start to downplay like who's actually not downplay, but it's like who's in your locker room now is like normal. It's like, yo, that's Michael Jordan. That's Kevin Durant. That's, you feel me? Like, so I don't know. They still little. He's this little kid.
But see, this is why I like LaMelo, right? When LaMelo, they were like, hey, like, are you like psyched up to play LeBron? He's like, no, like I play everybody the same way. Like I take everybody seriously. That's a professional answer. Why are you here being a fan? So I'm like, hey, like you should not. You're terrible, bro. Like get him out of here.
We don't know Wiseman's father to be animated and be all over news and all up in the videos.
So let's talk about Anthony Edwards, right? Anthony Edwards when they beat the Knicks that one time, and he was like, hey, like, hey, what happened? Like down the stretch, he said, yo, we just wanted anybody. We only wanted RJ to shoot the ball, right? And then he said that we want RJ to shoot the ball. Like he don't care. Like he don't care like who he's gonna crap on. Even Draymond was like, hey, like I like him. He goes, like he talks back. He's like, okay, you can't guard me, and he doesn't move. So you see the first draft pick and the third draft pick being pros and saying like, hey, like we trying to win, and you here calling the enemy about a system.
But it's a testament to why they're 1 and 2. Like Edwards can go, LaMelo can go. You just say he's top 5 of the 3 five. Like,
man, why?
So, I mean, well, he got ample time to talk to him now. How do you deal with injury? How do you deal with sitting out for a year? Like, you got ample time now, bro. So Get all the information you can get. So I guess. I mean,
Yeah,
I didn't trip it, bro.
that's just another Warriors player, right? Draymond Green, I think he's always for the month of April and March, he's always been in the news, right? So
every year,
right? So he recently said that these young players are soft as hell, right? And a lot of people give him flack. It was like, oh, well, Draymond, like these people grew up differently, this and third. Trash talk is not about everything. This is on a KD's podcast, and I kind of agree with him, right? Because like I understand if you're more skilled. So my thing is, I always get into an argument about my brother about this situation, right? I always think the 90 players are the better players, right? And he's like, oh no, we have more talent here, this and third. But I'm like, what good is talent if you can't use it? Right? Like you have all these skills and you have all these bag of tricks, but it's like if you only need 2 or 3 to be a great player, then why are you not focused on 2 and 3? So it's like in regards to the trash talk, like you play ball, we coach younger kids, but we see like when our younger kids start trash talking, sometimes they play better, right? Like sometimes like they make 4 or 5 shots in a row, like give me the ball, like I want the ball now, right? Compared to players who don't talk and they're like mute and they're soft, and those are players who get bullied over, and like that's not good. So I think I agree with Draymond saying these players are soft as hell, because it's like, yo, like it's sports is 90% mental. So if you have somebody like in your ear all the time, yada, and then you can't go, then it's like, yo, like he's showing you up, like, what are you doing here? So what's your take on him saying they're soft as hell? What's your take on the critics saying that, oh, he's just an old man on his lawn, like yelling and whatnot? That's the phrase, right? Old man yelling on the lawn? Like, I don't know what it is.
I'm just waiting for you to finish because, like, what are we really discussing, bro? He didn't say anything wrong. Everybody's so freaking sensitive. But it's kind of funny him saying that because even his era is soft, but it's like he sees it getting softer, so he has a right to voice his opinion. But it's like, come on, bro. Like Michael Jordan said, this joint is 90% mental. The other 10% is 5% is your actual skill, and the other 5 is you actually putting in the work. So if you like, what do we say? When we was coaching Brooklyn Bridge, Wolves, we would look for the Wolves. We would see who the wolf was when it got crunch time, when trash talking would begin. We would see who was shy away, and we would see who turn up. And it's like, yo, like, y'all scared of contact. That's just why they had to change the defense. Y'all get a whole bunch of money, so y'all pretty much put on a pedestal where you guys could sit and rest now for half the season because you're worth $28 billion. And it's like, bro, y'all, come on, bro. And it's like, it's whack. It's making the game whack. True fans are like, yo, the NBA is trash. Like, and it's translating down to college as well. Like, the NBA is supposed to set the standard. If it's soft there, it's going to trickle down. It's going to trickle down. It's going to trickle down. So it's trickling down into the way kids can't even get yelled at in college no more. Oh, you're coaching too hard. Like, and these coaches been coaching these universities for 40 years. Like, I'm pretty sure they know what they're doing. It's trickling down to high school now, and it's like, yo, the kids want to transfer anytime. Yo, the coach is crazy. They soft, man. Life comes with adversity. For most people, ball is life. It comes with adversity. Like, you feel me? So, like, trash talking is nothing but a measurement to get in your head and see where your game is at. Either you're going to shy away or you're going to step up to the plate. And that's what I said. Most of these people wouldn't even last in the 90s. No, when they wouldn't last. And people like, oh, the talent was whacker, but those were men. You can't just come run across the lane and do what you want. You're going to get an elbow. You're going to get a hip check. You're going to get hit in the ribs. Like I said, I was watching Iverson. This was 2001. This wasn't even the 90s. Every other place getting off the floor. Like, Rasheed Wallace and nobody putting 60 up on us. Why? Because we hurting him by 30. Like, nah, he hot. Give him an elbow when he come through. It's like, yeah, nobody thinks like that no more. It's like everything's nice. He's good. He's supposed to have 85. What? 85 on who? 85 on me? He got to have 85 on you on another team because I'm going to get you right up out of here. Coach, GM, he got to go. Talking about let him shoot. He hot. If he make it, he make it. No. So that mindset is destroying the game. And it's like, yeah, we all sound like a whole bunch of old has-beens, but it's like, yo, we lived a different era of basketball. So to see it get watered down, of course we're gonna voice our opinions. Like, y'all gonna say we sound like old people because y'all wasn't here for the real basketball. This is all y'all know. You feel me? So there's a lot of people who call LeBron a GOAT, and I had to understand that's all they know. They never saw Kobe in his prime. They saw Kobe at the end. They never saw Mike. They only have YouTube. Like, we seen this stuff live. So it's like, you got to understand what people's mindsets is at. But he's right. And the critics, the analytics, the critics, they're going to say whatever they want to say. I mean, Draymond is like the Dennis Rodman, Ron Artest of this era, but not as raw. Like, he wants to be, but he technically can't. He still has to be very politically correct.
Mm-hmm.
But I see what he's getting at. So, like, he's the guy who ruffles feathers now. He's the guy who get everybody, whatever. But all the top dogs, nobody disagrees with him. LeBron, no. LeBron have been around for a minute. He know. He ain't saying nothing. He know that man ain't saying nothing wrong. KD been around and got beat up in Seattle. They been around for it some time. So it's like, he ain't saying nothing wrong. Whatever. These little kids got to man up. Y'all getting all this money. Man up.
All right. So this is like in regards to Steve Kerr now, right? The Warriors head coach. So Arizona recently just fired Sean Miller from the head basketball coach. So essentially, like, he was the guy who got caught with the allegations and like actually like paying kids off and things of that nature, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of rumors spreading around, like they want Steve Kerr to coach the Arizona Wildcats. Or do you think or if you're Brad Stevens, you like, yo, Boston, you guys are a crapshoot. I'm gonna take my talents back to college and like actually get these kids to just play basketball, where I can be like a living legend.
Like I said before about Brad Stevens, he really fits the Boston culture, the look, and the identity of, if like they really buy in, I guess they could be a really good team. But on the grand scheme of things, they're not winning a championship anytime soon. So you get to analyze what you're getting paid in Boston and see what Arizona talk about, and you make a decision like that. And as for Steve Kerr would just be the name. He doesn't really develop anybody. Like, he walked into a machine. Now it's time for him to build, and we're seeing what's happening. You can say, oh, my main guys are hurt, but it's like, bro, you still got to coach. You're an NBA coach. You still got to, like, you got to develop. You feel me? So, like, if your whole career is based on on Stephen Curry, should you have a job? Eventually, he's gonna retire. Then what? What are you gonna do?
Retire with him.
So, I can see that happening. So, hey, forget both of them. Give Mark Jackson a job.
Yeah, I think Mark Jackson done, man.
Yeah, it's the politics. The politics that make you say whatever. Like, you know what it is, and you just stay away. But if we talking in terms of basketball and furthering basketball, and somebody who's gonna teach and develop, Mark Jackson, bro. But out of those two, I would go Brad Stevens over Steve Kerr. Easy.
All right, cool. So we're on the same page. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm Brad Stevens. I am getting out of here. Hey, thank you, Danny Ainge, but I'm gone. Like,
I'm out, bro.
You think of, first of all, you have a chance to rebuild a program, right? It's a D1 program. You're sponsored by Nike. So the athletes are going to come to you regardless, right? And you're on a Pac-12. So you're on a side where, like, you only play like USC and UCLA and like Gonzaga and them. What? That's like a no-brainer. Tatum and Jaylen Brown, no, I'm out, bro. Like,
they make the same amount of money and coach less games, like 50 less games. Like, yeah.
So if I'm Brad Stevens out Steve Kerr, I don't know. Like, so
I feel like NBA is more high maintenance anyway with the players, because like we just said, the contracts are higher. So it's like, they'll hear you there, see your schemes, X and O's. But if they're already, I'm a $120 million man in my head, it's different from guys who are hungry, trying to get to that level.
Mm-hmm.
So if they look at you, they respect you, they see what you're trying to do, they understand or feel like your stuff works, they'll buy in, as opposed to NBA players who already feel like they make it. Some of them don't even really care about a ring. They just cared about getting out the hood, feeding their family, and it's just like, oh, let me get these buckets. Like, so it's like, what do you want your legacy to be as a coach? And what do you want your impact to be in terms of the game of basketball as a whole? Like, what do you want to leave? Of course you want an NBA ring, but like, if you don't get an NBA championship ring as a coach, but you sent 50 kids to the NBA. Is that not the same thing? So it's
like,
whatever you.
sticking to your point with the legacy of coach, I think that actually is more important here, right? Because like, for if you're in college, right? Like, college is weird, where it's like they don't even count the championship. If you win a championship, sure, but they'll be like, oh, like Syracuse, Jim Boeheim, oh yeah, he went to 12 Final Fours, and that's a stat. And it's like, oh my God, these are good teams. So
Right.
it's like watered down a little bit per se, but it's like, hey, like you can. Everybody always remember Steph Curry's Elite Eight with Davidson, like always. So it's like you have more chances to make history in college than you do in the NBA. Because at the end of the day, if you're not winning a title, then it's like, damn, bro. Like,
so like, as a coach in the NBA, getting to the finals is not like how people decorated for LeBron. And it's like for the players in college, when being a national champion, that goes on your resume. But for coaches, it's how many times you got to the Final Four. Which, you feel me? Like, oh, he always makes the tournament. Their team is always in the Final Four. Like, and that is important when it's 200 freaking schools. So I understand it, but yeah, it goes back to what do you want your legacy to be as a coach and for the game of basketball? So
cool. All right, my last Warrior bid, right? Steph Curry is a free agent next year. Should he stay in Golden State or should he go to the Lakers?
He's a loyal dude. If he goes to the Lakers, I'm not watching basketball no more.
What? I'm turning on.
I'm watching every game. I'm not watching basketball no more.
I'm watching every game.
I'm not watching basketball no more. But everybody would say that would balance out because of the Brooklyn Nets. It's like, bro, y'all, we don't even know what they're gonna do this year. Like, relax. They still have to win the championship for y'all to go into panic mode. That's why
it's a next year thing, right? It's not a now, but it's like the Nets win the title next year, and they like are in the finals again next year, and you can't really do anything. I'm like, hey, like honestly, I'm not gonna hold you. Like, having Steph team up with LeBron and things of that nature, I think it's going to bring us back to the Lakers versus Celtics. We haven't had that. The closest thing we had was the Warriors and Cavs, but the Warriors are so much better than the Cavs. So it really wasn't really a matchup. We never had since 80s, we never really had two teams where it was like, oh, you're like nice and you're nice as well. Everybody's always if you watch the finals, it's always like a landslide somewhere.
It's really bad for basketball as a whole. It's bad in the NBA. It's really bad. Even if the Nets win, I feel like they'll probably do it once or twice. Like, mentally, like, yo, let's keep this team together, see if we can get another one. Then after they get to, it's just like, all right. You feel me? Because I just feel like it's so much pressure about getting rings now. And it's like people are washing away people's whole careers because you didn't have a ring. Like, yo, this dude averaged a triple-double his whole career, but he ain't win a ring. So it's like, it's that pressure of, I just need a ring. So now it's like, I don't even think KD went out his way. Everybody's trying to blame KD for this recruitment class, but he already had a ring.
I OD played. My thing for KD, I'm like, bro, like, yo, it was this summertime, right? Him and Kyrie was on his podcast, and they were like, somebody asked him, hey, like, so they're talking about big threes, and he's like, there's no more big threes. They're all duos. Like, it's like me and Kyrie, LeBron, AD, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, right? Yo, now you guys have a monster squad, and it's like, yo, like, where was all this talk before? Like, oh yeah, well, you know, duos can still get it done, but you hear recruiting every All-Star in the last 10 years.
But what I'm saying is, the pressure to get a ring is still not there for him. And at this point, he's having fun. He wants to play with his friends, and he'll probably say, like, yo, you want to win, come play with me. But the pressure was before to get the ring is not there. He already has two. He knows what it feels like. So now he can say stuff like, I'm not ring chasing, because you already got the rings. So when you think about it, I feel like there's a different motivation. Like, of course, they want to win a ring, but for KD, it's, yo, I want to win without Steph. They said I couldn't win without Steph and that monster over there. And for Kyrie, is, yo, I'm trying to win without LeBron. They said I couldn't win without LeBron. But in the grand scheme of things, like, y'all still created the Monster squad. So, like, in a sense, it's like, yo, y'all still messing up basketball. And if Steph goes with LeBron, that's like, it's just whack, bro. Like, across the board is whack.
That would be so lit. That would be
no, it's yo. You're saying it's lit because it's gonna be exciting basketball in the sense of the greatest scorer ever with the sole quote unquote GOAT of this era. And if that Brooklyn Nets team, so like it's gonna be great to see them wash everybody, but we already know who's going to the finals. So like, is it really like that's not?
That's how it was in the 80s. I'm fine with that. Like then you had
We wasn't around for the 80s. You can't speak on that. We wasn't around for that.
That's how it was in the 80s, based on my historical context. But then you had this one young gunner named Michael Jordan who came in and said, yo, cut this out, right? Now you have the young gunner called LaMelo. He's gonna be like, yo, cut this crap out. So you know what I mean?
Did you just put LaMelo in the same sentence with Michael Jordan? I gotta move the call. The call not even on. I'm about to move the call. But as somebody who likes to see real competition, and it's whack, but at the same time, it's gonna make money. So I guess if you want to see a couple games of that. But my bigger beef with the NBA is like, yo, can y'all put more teams on TV? I'm tired of seeing the same 8 teams play on TV every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If I see Boston and Milwaukee and Dallas and the Clippers, I'm going to pull my hair out. Like, yo, it's other teams in the league. I don't care if they suck. We don't want to see these other teams. This is why they get hurt. This is why LeBron hurt. He tired of playing on TV. Like, come on, bro. Yeah. Between the Bucks and the Sixers. I've seen them 9 times already. Like, come on, bro. All right, I'm sorry.
All right, so we got I guess you got 2 more rants, and we're gonna do a start bench cut. So I think one of your other rants was the AI Kyrie comparison. How do you feel about that? What do you?
So one of my friends said Kyrie's probably the most skilled player ever. And that really ticked me off because I'm like, do you know how long basketball history is? And you're going to sit up here and say this guy is the most skilled player ever? Like, do you know, like, Pistol Pete was, like, scoring, like, 50 points without a 3-point line? Like, it's like, it's frustrating that this generation now, whatever they see, they feel like that's the greatest thing ever, and they try to do away what happened before. But I just felt like that was a really bold statement. But aside from that, I'm just like, do y'all not understand what Allen Iverson did for the game impact-wise? Like, this guy was really different. Like, Kyrie, to me, he still takes a lot of dribbles to do what he needs to do. It looks good, but he takes a whole bunch of dribbles. And does it translate the wins? Like, you feel me? Like, it looks good, but what does it really translate to? So, because we could say that for James Harden, like, he scores very, very easily. T-Mac was one of the smoothest scorers ever, but what does it actually translate to? So for you to say something like that is just like, that's very bold. And it's like, you got somebody named Michael Jordan that played. You got somebody named Kobe Bryant that played, right? You got, it's somebody named Steph Curry still playing. Like, that's very bold statement. I just don't like the comparisons because I'm like, Iverson played in a totally different era. Hand checking, all that, like to the point where they banned his move. So it's like you can't compare this guy, somebody who had a move banned, change the defense for this guy. He's smaller than the guy you're comparing him to.
I get it.
So it's just like, we're not gonna do that. This guy was an MVP of our league. So we're not gonna say this guy was where's the comparison? I get it. They're little guys, they dribble, they drop people, but it gotta be bigger than that in terms of what this guy did. His rookie year, he went 5 games of 40 or more as a rookie. That's, you feel me? Don't get it twisted. Kyrie's a bucket, but it's like, okay, what else? We get it. He's a bucket. Iverson was a bucket, but Iverson, it went somewhere. No LeBron, Kyrie's not getting no team to the finals.
I agree.
Hey, he's just a bucket, bro. So,
all right. So now,
stop that.
Do you want to talk about your Knicks or not? All right, let's get to Start Bench Cut. Welcome to another edition of Start Bench Cut.
where we had to start a player, bench a player, and unfortunately, we had to make a hard decision of cutting a player.
Best, so in-game dunkers, right? Vince Carter, Sean Kemp, Blake Griffin.
That's tough, bro.
Got him.
Because I feel like Sean Kemp and Blake, their prime of their tenure of them throwing it on people, violating, happened at like it ended. It started and ended at the same time in terms of length. But Vince is definitely number one. Like, we're not even gonna do that. He jumped over somebody who was like 7. Like, he jumped over. So he jumped over. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go Blake just because he palmed the dude head in the air. Like, he palmed his head. Like, he went baseline, he jumped, and palmed his head. Like, oh, then he caught it and spent. This was all the same game. This was on the Knicks, the beloved Knicks. Palm Mozgov head. Then he snipped off Gallinari and threw it on Mozgov again. I'm like, nah, this guy's got Like, don't get me twisted. Everybody know the Sean Kemp point, but Blake was disrespectful, bro. Like, but he wasn't trying. He was trying to be disrespectful. He was just playing. You feel me? Like, I'm just trying to dunk you in the way. So he just like, I'm just like, yo, move your head right quick. Like, so we're gonna go Vince, Blake, Sean Kemp. I don't feel like you could. That's hard, bro.
All right, I'm gonna start Vince. I'm gonna bench Sean, and I'm gonna bench Blake. I mean, cut.
I'm
Blake.
not mad at that. I don't feel like you could really go wrong, but I want to hear why you pick Sean Kemp over Blake.
Because I feel like, just how you said it, like, yeah, Blake. I feel like Blake moments was like too few, right? Like, he had the Mozgov like 4 times or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. It was like he violated the same person 4 different times. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he had a few dunks here and there. I feel like Sean Kemp didn't matter who was in my way. I'm throwing this down, and then like he broke a few backboards. It's like, yo, like, get off of me, like, nobody's stopping me. And then
listen,
yeah, Sean Kemp is different.
I love both of them, bro. Like, I really do love both of them. It ain't like, you can't really go wrong with that. I'm not mad at yours. I just felt like for this one I was stuck, so I had to pick. I really wouldn't pick because that's bananas. Like, I really wanted to go back to the comparison videos. I know you tell me it's a lot of work, but it would be more for educational purposes because the kids don't know. They don't know. They see Blake now, and hey, please, they know Blake from Detroit for not dunking for 2 years, so they don't know what Blake was. They don't even know what Amari Stoudemire was. So I know they don't know who the Rain Man was. They don't know who that is. Rain Man, who was that? What? He's like, it's the rain around him? Like, they don't know. Like, it's different, bro. But I encourage everybody listening, go check out Sean Kemp dunks. Go check out Blake Griffin on the Clippers, and y'all just watch. Like, y'all don't even have to pick. I just want y'all to watch. And watch, must see TV, get some popcorn, tell your girl pull up. Babe, I want you to watch this with me. Tell the kids, yo, come. I'm gonna show y'all somebody who used to dunk. Y'all can lie to the kids. Yeah, that was me in high school. Like, do all of that. You feel me? But nah, you can't go wrong with that. That was tough. All
right. Hey, that's our show for us. We was a bunch of old men on our lawns. You know what I mean? Get off our lawn, whatever, whatnot. But I'm your host, your best host, Nam DK Premium Nam, alongside my man, Real to Real. Please follow us on
co-host
all social media at sportsredefined.com.
Yes,
Yo, we out. Peace.
We out. Peace.